whenever you're ready. Thank you.
All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you for joining. It's nice to see those names and a couple faces pop up there. So thank you. I am having some connectivity issues on my part. So I apologize in advance if we end up sending you guys a link to a pre-recorded video. I'm going to do my best and we'll get started. We've got 45 minutes of a flow style class. Work through at a pace that's working for you, whether we're live or whether we end up with a pre-recorded session. And let's go ahead and get ourselves moving. I am going to adjust my video a little. There we go. Now you got me and my mat. So we're going to stand up nice and tall. Get those feet just a touch wider apart than the hips. We're going to start that timer now. Keep ourselves on track. And let's send our weight back toward our heels just slightly. We're going to pretend we have a string at the crown of the head drawing you up to the ceiling. We're going to pretend that same string is drawing down toward the floor, making a nice plumb line from the tailbone down to right between those heels. Let's turn our toes, point them out to the sides just a touch, and then we can heel to our feet a little further apart. So a little wider than shoulders with those feet now. Keeping the weight back toward the heels, we're going to soften up our knees. And let's draw our bellies and our spines gently together, like we're supporting them, like we're making a nice little seat belt of muscles right around that waistline. Fingertips are going to reach toward the floor, and let's roll the shoulders up, back, and down. Keep the head and neck nice and still. Roll them back. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Let's take a big breath and reach those arms up. Exhale them out to the sides and down. One more time. Big breath in, arms up. Clasp the palms. Let's press them to the ceiling, and we'll drop our shoulder blades down to the floor. Try to get as much length between your ear and the shoulder as you possibly can. Keeping that lower body nice and still, we're going to take a tall side bend up toward each top side of the room where the wall and ceiling meet. Inhale up, exhale and side bend. Inhale up, exhale, side bend. We're going to pause where we just first start to feel that muscle area start to work on the top side of the abdominals. We're going to hold there with that belly engaged. Let's unclasp our hands, reach one down toward that same side foot. And then let's take those fingertips and reach them toward the opposite foot. So our hands are reaching as far away from each other as they can. We're going to get a nice stretch along the side of that body. Keep it in a range that feels good. Let's inhale, arms up to the ceiling. We'll reclasp the palms and we exhale over to the other top corner. Hands are reaching toward where the wall and ceiling meet. Let's drop that arm on the side we're reaching toward first, down toward that foot. And then we'll stretch it toward the other one, lengthening out from rib cage all the way down to the pelvis. We may feel this stretch from pinky all the way down to that hip. Inhale up tall, hands to the ceiling. Exhale and out till the arms are lined up at shoulder height. Arms are out on a T. We're going to keep the belly drawn in, keep that head in line with the breastbone. And let's rotate. Let's rotate the breastbone toward one wall. Let the upper body go along with it. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, we'll rotate toward the other wall. Inhale, center. Exhale and rotate. Inhale, center. Exhale and rotate. Take those arms back to the middle. We'll bring our hands down by our sides. Let's bring those feet in. We're going to narrow up that base of support. Heels are lined up with those sit bones right in the middle of the hips there. Shift the weight toward the very front of those ankles. Hold it there. And we're going to take our hands right to that midsection. The fingertips, the index and middle fingers are going to make a diamond. Right between that diamond, we're going to let that belly button rest. Heels and the hands are pressed into the outsides of those top of the hip bones. And let's shift our weight toward our toes and toward our heels. Try to keep the big toe, the pinky toe, and that heel firmly anchored into the mat as we go. The rest of the body is moving as one unit around those ankle joints. We'll feel our legs work a little bit differently as we hit different points in that range. We should feel our core muscles tighten right in the front as we shift between that forward and backward positions of our base of support. Let's take the weight right over the ankles. We're going to move our fingertips to the front of the waistline, take the thumbs to the back of the waistline, and let's soften up our knees just a touch. Keeping the core engaged, we're going to push the weight from foot to foot, side to side. Feel those trunk muscles kick in as we again hit those end ranges of our base of support. Try to keep those big toes down. I didn't do a very good job there. Take them side to side. Let's move through some circles. We're going to move the weight toward the toes, out toward one side of one foot, and then back toward the heels. If we had a pencil at the crown of the head, we'd be tracing a nice circle on the ceiling right now. Feel those muscles in the trunk kick in, a little bit circular. fashion as we move through those different parts of our range. And we'll switch it up. Let's rotate the other direction. Here's 4. Circle for 3. Here's 2. Here's 1. Let's take our weight back over the front of the ankle joints. Arms come down, shift apart those knees, shake them out a little bit. We're going to make a quarter turn and prepare to come down to our mats. Before we do so, we'll back up to the back, about a foot away from the back edge of that mat. We're going to keep our feet shoulder width apart, soften up the knees. The weight is back just behind those ankle joints now. And keeping the core engaged, we're going to tip forward from our hips. Take your hands right to where the trunk and pelvis fold into each other. We'll take the trunk forward and that tailbone back. Keep your knees soft. We're going to keep some little tension off the back of the thighs, off that pelvis. We want to take the body forward just until the point where we can keep that low back curve and where we feel a little stretch or resistance to movement behind those thighs. Keeping the hands on those hips, let's wiggle those knees. We're going to bend them a bit and straighten them a bit. As we bend, we put some slack back into the back of the legs. As we straighten, we tense up those muscles to touch. We want to keep that low back nice and relaxed. So I want you to move within a range where we can keep that trunk stable. Wiggle and straighten. Good, one more time. Bend those knees, straighten them up. We're going to keep a little tension in those glutes. Bend the knees a touch more. Let's keep our hands right at the outsides of the thighs now, and we're going to push our weight from foot to foot, just like we did when we were upright. But what we'll notice now is those hips are working. As we load one leg, our glutes, our hip stabilizers kick in. And as we switch to the other side, the same thing happens on that other leg. Take them side to side, shift toward the screen and away. Take the weight right back to the middle. We're going to take our hands and reach them down toward the mat. Make them nice and relaxed. Let them wiggle out a little bit. Maybe we tip that trunk forward a little more if we have a little more slack to take up through the back of the thighs. We're going to row. We're going to keep that belly engaged. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades, send those elbows up, tuck them into the waistline, and then release them toward the floor. Squeeze and row, release. Squeeze and row, and release. Repeat for 4, for 3, for 2, and for 1. Those elbows are going to be tucked right in by the sides. Straighten and bend those arms. Crack those triceps. We're working when we get down to our hands and knees. Here's 4. Straighten and bend for 3. Maybe we shift our weight back a touch. There's 2. Hold them back there. Straight elbows for 1. Big breath in. As we breathe out, let's sweep our arms toward the floor. We're going to bend our knees enough that we can get our hands down to the mat. And then let's make our way down to all fours. We can keep the toes turned under, press those big toes into the floor. We're going to line up the back of the head with the middle back and that sacrum, just below that low back curve. Settle your weight into your body here in this new position, and let's shift our weight toward the screen and away, pushing the weight through those hands. Repeat, take it toward the screen, press the floor away. Coming back to the middle, keep that belly engaged. We want to imagine that we have something balanced in the small of the back. And let's make some circles around our base of support. We're going to shift the weight forward, sideways and back, between the hands, between the knees. That trunk stays still. That low back curve stays the same as we move, and we're going to shift it the other direction. Circle for 3, for 2, for 1. We're right back up to all fours. Let's curl through cat, belly button to the ceiling, look toward those thighs. Reverse and lengthen to cow. Breastbone toward the wall in front, tailbone comes up toward the ceiling. Curl through cat, reverse to cow. Move through at your own range, at your own speed. We're moving through a range that feels good and productive. We're just trying to loosen up some joints here as we go. We'll have more chance to do this exercise later, maybe increasing the range as we go. Let's take that body right back to neutral. And with the upper body still, we're going to wag our tail side to side. Bring a hip to a shoulder, and then repeat on the other side. Feel those trunk muscles tense on the side we're moving our hips toward. Taking the hips right back to neutral, we'll turn the tops of the feet to the floor. Let's take those feet together, bring the knees apart, rock the bottom back toward the heels, and we're going to slide or walk our hands toward the front of our mat. Notice a little length, a little stretch through the sides of those shoulder blades, maybe even along the sides toward the waistline, maybe even along the outsides of the arms. Go to the point where you feel a nice stretch. If you feel too much pull, feel free to add some slack back in by bending the elbows. Wherever you are, we're going to lower our forehead toward the mat. Take a big breath in. Breathe it out. Draw the belly up and away from the floor. Bend the elbows if they're not already bent. We're going to shift our weight over those forearms. Let's take our legs back behind the body. Keep the forearms pressing toward the floor and those shoulder blades pressing toward the floor as we ease our thighs down toward the mat. We're going to keep that belly engaged, drawn up toward the spine. And let's squeeze and press through our shoulder blades. Little mini scapular push-ups. Squeeze and press, using those muscles right along the outside borders of those shoulder blades. Squeeze and press. Twice more. Squeeze and press. Hold it there. Take a big breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to shift away from our screen. Tuck that forearm underneath the body, and let's bend up our knees. Line those heels up with our sit bones, and we're going to walk our hands a little closer to the body and walk those fingertips forward toward the heels. Nod the chin toward the neck, feeling the back of the neck lengthen into the mat. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to draw that breastbone and that upper back right between those shoulder blades firmly down to the floor. And we're going to think about dropping our lowest ribs and our bellies down a little closer to the mat. Let's flip our palms over to face the ceiling, and the backs of the thumbs are going to press into the mat. That's going to open us up through our collarbones. We're going to take a few deep breaths here. Inhale and breathe it out. Belly to spine. One more time, big breath in. As we exhale this time, let's think about pressing the backs of the shoulders to the floor and widening those collarbones away from the center of the body. That's going to get us a nice stretch in the front of that chest. Hold it here. We're going to flip those palms back to the floor. Let's picture that pelvic clock with the clock face up coming toward the breastbone, bottom coming toward those hip bones, toward that pubic bone. We have 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock. We're going to curl that pelvis back and forth between those two positions. Curl the pubic bone, shortening it toward the breastbone. 12 o'clock. Lengthen that pubic bone toward the feet for 6. Curl to 12. Reverse to 6. One more time, curl to 12. Reverse and lengthen to 6. We'll take that pelvis right back to neutral, and let's find 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock on either side of that pelvis and rock the hips between the two. One hip lifts as the other lowers down. Rock it through the center and roll to the other side. Roll between 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock. Feel your feet press a little bit unevenly into the floor as we go. Those shoulders are still, that breastbone is still, and that chin is gently drawn down toward the spine. We'll rock one more time to each side. 3 and 9. Take it right back to neutral. Big breath in. As we exhale, we draw the belly a little closer to the mat. You can press your fingertips in there. Make sure those muscles feel active. Let's bring one knee up to 90 degrees, parallel shin. Bring the other one up. We're going to leave those shins up at that 90-90 tabletop position. Shins stay still enough that we can balance something on them. If you need to take pressure off of the back and feel that core engaged, we can bring those knees just a touch closer to the body. Let's hold it there. Let's float our arms to the ceiling, taking a big breath in. And as we exhale, we keep that belly engaged. We're going to wrap our shoulder blades around the front of the body toward the ceiling and then lower them down toward the mat. Inhale, reach the blades up. Exhale, lower them down. We're going to repeat here at a pace that works for you. The biggest thing to think about as you reach those blades up and draw them down is try to keep that head and neck nice and still. We want to keep the shoulder blades as the only thing moving on that stable base. Reach up to the ceiling, lower them down to the mat. We're going to arc our arms forward, stopping when those fingertips are a touch hovered up off the floor, and let's turn our palms to face the mat. Stretch those fingertips forward as we nod the chin toward the neck. And if you have a little more slack to give, we could straighten up those knees. Find that first point of resistance behind the thighs before that low back would move. Hold it there. Let's pat our hands up and down, inhaling for 5 counts and exhaling for 5 counts. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. As we pat those arms up and down with energy that's coming from our shoulder blades, we want to try to keep the rest of the body nice and still. If that chin won't stay still, maybe we bend those knees up. Maybe we tuck them a little closer to the body to stabilize that trunk. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. We can always extend our feet forward to where the wall and ceiling meet. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Flip those palms over. Let's press that air to the ceiling. Breathe it in. Breathe it out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale. Last time, inhale. Breathe it out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip the palms toward the floor. Draw those knees all the way into the chest, one knee toward each corresponding shoulder. As we hold it there, we're going to draw our bellies down and away from the thighs, basically flattening the low back just a touch into the mat. We're going to take our hands all the way to the floor and that leg farthest from the screen. Keep it pulled into your chest. Keep that core engaged as we press our opposite leg forward toward the wall in front of us. Press it out straight. Can we keep that heel hovered off the floor? Take that knee back to the center, pull it into the chest and press the other leg forward. Inhale to center, exhale and press. Inhale to center, exhale, press and hold. Draw that pulled in into the chest using the hands for support. We're going to keep that leg hovered off the floor. Anywhere from 6 to 12 inches up off the mat is great. Let's take that straight leg side to side. Draw a horizontal line on the wall in front. Use your hand to monitor that pelvis is staying nice and still as the leg moves. Stretch that leg forward and we're going to move it in circles. Reach those toes toward the wall in front. Keep those circles going. Pause where you are, breathe it in. Exhaling, we'll circle the other way. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch those toes forward, take a big breath in. Belly stays pulled toward the spine as we exhale and draw the other knee into the chest. Hang on to it with the hands and we're going to stretch our opposite leg forward. Keeping that hover, we'll take that straight leg side to side, out and in, drawing that horizontal line on the wall. Twice more, out to the side, back to the center, and out to the side. Take it back to the center. Hold it there, big breath in. Exhaling, circle, reach those toes to the wall in front. Here's 3. Keep that belly down. 2, and 1. Take it the other way. Circle for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Take that straight leg down to the mat. Tighten up the front of your thigh. You might even get a little stretch through the front of that thigh here. We're going to hold behind the other thigh and lengthen that leg up toward the ceiling, stopping the knee at the point where you first start to feel that stretch behind the thighs. We can flex and point, tensing and releasing through that whole connective tissue pathway along the back of that leg. Let's point our toes to the ceiling. We're going to reach the arms up, hold them there. Drop the blades, drop the back of that lowest knee to the floor. And let's take that lifted leg side to side. Keep your hip bones and pelvis facing the ceiling as that leg moves. We're going to feel our side muscles working to control against rotation. Out to the side, back to the center. Let's make some circles on the ceiling. That circle could be as big as or as small as you need to feel that core challenge and to feel that stability. Circle the other way. Here's 4. Here's 3. We can hover that supporting leg for a little bit more challenge for our final 2. Pause at the top, grab behind that thigh, take a big breath in. Exhale, belly to spine. We're going to pull our knee into the chest and now we'll switch them up. Draw the other one in, slide that opposite leg out straight. Tighten up the front of that thigh and then holding behind the other leg. We're going to extend our knee, bringing those toes to the ceiling as we flex and point through. Point those toes, draw that belly down. Press that lower leg firmly into the mat as we raise our arms to the ceiling. Let's take our lifted leg out toward the screen and back to the center. Point those hip bones all the way up to your rafters. Twice more, side to side. Side to side. Bring the legs to the ceiling. We're going to circle. Stir that hip in its socket. Try to keep everything else nice and still. Pause at the top, take a breath. Exhaling, repeat the other way. Circle for 4. For 3, maybe we hover the leg up for the final 2. And 1 more. Let's reach those toes up. Hang on behind the thigh. We're going to roll our shoulders back and down. Keep the core engaged. Hover that supporting leg up off the mat if it's been down. Inhale that other leg to the ceiling. Switch the grip. Float the opposite leg down to our hover. Inhale and lift. Exhale, float and hover. Inhale and lift. Exhale and switch. Inhale and lift. Exhale and switch. We're going to repeat here for 4. For 3, for 2, and for 1. Let's drop both knees into the chest, give them a hug, rock that body side to side. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Let's come right back to the center. We're going to give those shoulders a couple of rolls backwards.
We're going to drop the blades to the floor, take the hands down by the sides. We're using our abdominals to draw down to the floor, but also to pull our knees toward the chest. We're now going to control those legs back up to our tabletop position. Keep the knees and the ankles together and that low back nice and still. We're going to straighten the knees as best we can without losing contact from that sacrum, that top part of the wedge-shaped bone at the base of your spine with the floor. Hold it here. We're going to circle with both legs together. Make some circles on the ceiling. Move those toes together. Both legs moving as a unit. Hover the hands off the floor for a little more challenge. Make that circle a little bit bigger for bigger challenge. Pause at the top, take a breath. As we exhale, we'll take it the other way. Again, we can start small. We can increase the radius of that circle as we go, provided we can keep that pelvis nice and still. One more time, reach those toes to the ceiling, pause here, big breath in. Exhaling, scoop that belly down, and we'll move the legs in circles, 4 in opposite directions of each other. Good, twice more. Maybe we take our arms to the ceiling. Pause at the top, breathing in. Exhaling, we're going to circle the other way. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's flex our feet. Turn the heels together, toes away from each other, and let's anchor our hands down for some support. We're going to bend up our knees, just a touch. Heels, knees, and pubic bone are going to make a nice long diamond shape. We're going to hold here. We're going to take our heels a little closer to the wall in front of us, opening up that hip angle just a touch. Let's breathe in, bending the knees, taking those heels toward our pubic bones. And then we'll exhale, press those knees straight as we can, heels to the wall. Inhale to center, frog, exhale and press. Inhale to frog, exhale and press. Twice more, inhale to frog, exhale, press. One more time, inhale, frog, exhale, press. We're going to turn those feet and legs parallel to each other, scoop them up to the ceiling, big breath in. As we exhale, bend those knees to tabletop and let's float our arms to the ceiling, breathing in. Exhale, drop that chin. Drop the blades and draw that belly a little closer to the spine. Let's take that arm closest to the screen, back overhead, extend your opposite leg forward, press your heel toward the wall. Inhale through tabletop, exhale and switch. Inhale through tabletop, exhale and switch. We're going to repeat. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. And here's 1. Let's take those arms to the ceiling, legs to tabletop, big breath in. Exhale, point the toes, draw those knees in. We're going to give ourselves a brief little rock side to side before repeating with a slightly different position. Inhale to center, exhale, belly to spine. Bring those legs back to tabletop, arms come to the ceiling. Instead of diagonals here, we're going to work moving both heels down to the floor together. Flex the feet here. We're going to drop our heels together, lower the belly down. As we exhale, our heels come to the mat. We'll inhale and back up to the ceiling. Exhale and lower, inhale and lift. Repeat, adding on to this if you'd like by extending those arms back overhead. Inhale to ceiling. Exhale and lower, inhale and lift. Repeat, here's 4, back to center. Here's 3, take it up. Last 2. On that last one, we're going to lower our heels with control to the mat. We'll keep our core engaged as we stretch those arms back overhead. Keep the elbows straight as we can as we aim to get those thumbs toward the mat. Elbows are right by the ears. Take a big breath in. Breathing out, we're going to take our toes to the floor, walk them just a touch closer to our bottoms. We're going to nod the chin down. Drop the breastbone in the middle back toward the floor. Take those lowest ribs and anchor them to the mat and draw that belly down. Big breath in. As we exhale, maybe those hands can come back just a touch closer to the floor. If they touch, leave them there. Drop your shoulder blades toward your hips. We're going to inhale our arms to the ceiling and exhale them down to the mat in front, right by our sides. Breathe it in. As we breathe out, we're going to prepare to bridge. We're going to draw the belly in, press the heels to the floor, squeeze and lift those glutes toward the ceiling. Control them back down. Press to the ceiling, control them back down. Repeat at a pace that works for you. I want you to focus on keeping your chin nice and still. It doesn't have to be all the way nodded, but you want to keep it nice and still. We want to think about keeping our shoulder blades pressed into the floor. Lift and lower those hips. Here's 4. Here's 3. Here's 2. Hold it up there for 1. Press those shoulder blades into the mat. Press those hands into the mat. Keeping the belly and spine engaged and draw toward each other. We're going to lift and lower our heels. Take them up and down. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Heels come down, hips stay lifted. Let's pulse that rear end to the ceiling. Pulse and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5. Feel those outer hips working. 3, 2, 1. Hold the bridge. Hold that length. Stretch your knees toward the wall in front. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to lower with control down to the mat. Release the glutes at the bottom when that tailbone touches the mat. And let's take our knees side to side. Release that pressure. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. One more time to each side. Big breath in, big breath out. Let's bring those knees right back up to the ceiling. Inch the heels a touch closer to the rear end if you need to. Breathe it in. And exhaling, we'll press back up into bridge and stretch those knees forward. Feel the length through those quads. Let's keep our big toes, our heels, and our pinkies pressed into the mat. We're going to take that knee closest to the screen, open it out to the side, and then float it back to the middle. Switch it up on the other side, out and in. Repeat, out to the side, back to the center. Out to the side, back to the center. Repeat for 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Take them back to the center, breathing in. Exhale, lower down with control. Release at the bottom. Take those knees side to side. Here's 4, 3, rock for 2, and 1. Taking them right back to the middle, breathe it in. Exhale, bridge back up and hold. We're going to hold that bridge. Hold those hips lifted. Press your arms into the floor. Press those shoulders into the floor. Let's move to our tabletop march. Lift and lower one knee and lift and lower the other. The goal here is to keep those cheeks lifted up to the same height, whether that foot is pressing into the mat or whether it's marching. Walk it through. Here's 4. Here's 3. Last 2. And 1. Press that second foot into the floor. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, we lower that body down. We release the glutes at the bottom of the motion when that tailbone touches the floor. And let's rock those knees toward the screen and away. Take 2 deep breaths. One more time. Big breath in. Big breath out. Take those knees back to the center. We're going to cross the knee closest to the screen over to the other one. Ankle to knee. Lift up into figure 4 stretch. If this is not working for you, that supporting foot can remain on the floor. Either way, we're going to rock the body away from that cross-legged side. Feel that hip open up. Take a breath. Breathe it out back to the middle. Keep that core engaged as we switch it up. Uncross the legs. Cross the other ankle over. Lift up into that figure 4. Hold it here. Decide if you want to bring that foot back down, and then we'll rock away from our cross leg. Let's take one more big breath. As we breathe out, we'll come right back to the center. We'll unwind, give those knees one more hug. Let's bring our feet to the floor, reset the belly to the spine. We're going to take the heels of the hands to the very front of the pelvis, right at those 2 bones. Drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, and let's slide our legs out straight as we can without those hip bones moving. We don't want them tipping forward or tipping too far back toward the body. Straighten the legs out best we can. If this does not feel good on your low back, bend those knees back up. The hands are on the hip bones. We're monitoring for stability as we lift and lower one foot and then lift and lower the other. You are welcome to have those knees bent, which turns it into a little march. Let's float our arms to the ceiling. Keeping that chin knotted, let's keep those legs moving and take those arms back overhead toward where the wall and ceiling meet first. And then if we have a little more slack to take out of the system, slowly bring those fingertips toward the floor. Walk it out for 3, for 2, and for 1. As both feet come to the floor, we'll inhale the arms to the ceiling. Let's exhale them down in front, bend up those knees, and we're going to turn ourselves over to hands and knees. If you do need more padding here, go ahead and double up your mat or feel free to add a towel roll. We're gonna line up with wrists and shoulders, knees and hips in line with each other. Let's curl through cat and reverse to cow. Curl it and reverse. Let's do a few here. We should be able to ease into a little bit greater range of motion as we do a few more. The shoulders are pressed away from the ears, and we're making sure that we're driving this motion with the lower body, that pelvis is curling, belly button's coming to the ceiling. And then we reverse it and take it the other direction. Take that body right back to the middle, and we're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades together behind the back and then press them forward, wrap them around toward the floor. Squeeze them together, press and wrap. Squeeze and press, squeeze and press. Let's repeat for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Press those blades to the floor, shift away from the screen. Take the free hand, place it up on your thigh. We're gonna square off our shoulders to the mat and squeeze and press through that single arm. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that pressure down. Let's take that arm closest to the screen. Float it out to the side, follow it to the ceiling. Thread the needle, reach it through toward the other wall, look over that shoulder. Inhale, arm comes up and out. Exhale, thread it through. One more time, arm comes up and out, big breath in. Exhale, thread it through. We should feel a stretch through the chest and that mid back. We'll take that second hand down, shift toward that second hand. Newly freed hand comes up to the thigh and we square off our shoulders to the mat. Let's squeeze and press through that weight bearing side. There's 4. Squeeze and press for 3. Blades together, blades apart for 2. Squeeze, press and hold. Take that free arm out to the side. Follow it up to the ceiling. Big breath in. Exhale, thread through toward that screen. Inhale, up and out. Exhale, thread the needle. One more time, good job. Inhale, up and out. Exhale and thread. Let's take it right back up to hands and knees. And we're gonna take that leg closest to the screen, back behind the body, and take that opposite arm forward. Hold. Imagine something balanced in the small of your back. Keep that nice and still as we switch through to our other side. Reach the leg back, other arm forward. Switch it up. We're gonna alternate here, moving through at a pace that works for you. Don't lose whatever object you're imagining balanced on that spine. Maybe we make this a little more challenging. Shift toward the screen. Same side arm and leg. Lift up. Shift back to all fours, shift away. Same side arm and leg come up. Let's repeat a few times here. You feel free to follow my cadence as I lift. Feel free to go a little slower or a little quicker, whatever is working best for you. The slower we go, the harder it is to balance. Keep that in mind. We'll shift away one more time. Good. Let's take that hand down. Let's take that knee down. We're going to curl through cat and reverse to cow. Take it to neutral. Wag your tail side to side. Pause with the hip tip toward the screen. We're going to look over that shoulder, cross the opposite foot over. Can we grab onto it and pull it a little closer to the body? We're going to stretch out through the opposite side of the waistline. Let's inhale back to neutral, all fours. As we exhale, wag that tail the other direction, look over that shoulder, cross the leg over, grab onto those toes if you can. And as we pull that foot toward the shoulder, we'll feel that waistline open up on the side of the screen. Breathe it in. Exhale it back to all fours. Hold it here. Let's tap through our shoulders. One hand comes to the opposite shoulder. Switch it up. We're controlling against rotation here. If we want to make this harder, walk those hands forward, straighten out those knees a bit. Maybe we take it up to a high plank. Try to keep that low back nice and still. Again, whatever we have balanced on it when we had our legs stretching out from that all fours position, keep it balanced. Pause and plank, knees come back down. We curl through cat, reverse to cow. Take it to neutral. Feet come together, knees come apart. Let's take that bottom down. We're going to walk our hands forward to the front of the mat. And again, take a nice big breath in. Exhale. Let's walk our hands toward our screen. Take a breath in. As we breathe out, we're going to feel ourselves stretch out through the opposite side. Breathe in again. Exhaling, we're going to take it all the way through the middle over to the other side, hand over hand. Big breath in. Breathing out, we'll walk our hands right back to the center. Let's drop those forearms, shift the weight over them. We're gonna keep our shoulder blades pressed to the floor as we take our legs back behind the body and lengthen those forearms. Lengthen those thighs back down toward the floor. Hold it here. Let's keep that belly drawn in. We're gonna bend one knee, bring that heel toward the bottom, straighten it out and switch. Keep it going, repeating at a pace that's working for you. Switch in for a 4. I draw on my cadence. We have 3, 2, and 1. Wherever you are, let's lower that second leg down to the mat. Take a big breath in. As we exhale, we're going to draw the belly up toward the ceiling. Let's walk ourselves back up to a tall kneeling position. We'll curl through cat. We'll reverse to cow. We'll take it back to the neutral and wag that tail side to side. Grab some extra padding if you need it. We're going to walk our hands toward our knees and come right up to a tall kneeling position. Our goal here is going to be to get the head, the middle of the trunk, and the middle of those hips lined up. So we're trying to avoid too much of a bend forward and too much of an arch back. Let's find that happy medium. We're going to curl that pelvis, shorten the front a little bit, lengthen the back. So the pubic bone shortens toward that 12 o'clock pelvic clock position. Hold it here, hands go right on the thighs. We're going to lean the body back. Shoulders come toward the wall behind. Feel that length through the front of the thighs. Inhale up nice and tall. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale up. Exhale, lean it back. Inhale it up. One more time. Exhale, lean it back partway. Hold it there. Take the hands away from the thighs. We're going to flip our palms to face the wall in front. And let's take the hands back till they're vertically aligned with the ground. Hold it there. Squeeze the blades. And let's bring our bodies up nice and tall. Hands are slightly behind the body. We're going to squeeze the blades a little further. Pulse the hands to the wall behind. There's 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for a breath. As we exhale, those arms come down. We're going to turn and face our screen in that tall kneeling position. Again, feel free to adjust the padding as you see fit. Arms come up, big breath in. As we exhale, the arms come out to the sides. Our hands come right to the hips. And we're going to bring ourselves forward and take those hands into the all fours position. Hands are in front. Let's hold here. We're going to keep that core engaged. We're going to extend one leg out to the side. Drop that foot to the floor. If you get enough inner thigh stretch, we're going to stay right here. Otherwise, we're going to rock back and forth a little. Feel how that inner thigh stretch on the straight leg changes as we move through various points in that back and forth rocking motion. Let's take it up to that hands and knees position again. We're going to take our knee back in and switch it up. Extend that other leg. Feel the inner thigh stretch out. And again, if we have a little more slack to take out, we can rock back and forth. Feel the difference. A, between your two sides, and B, at different points in that range. All right, coming back up to all fours. We're going to leave that leg right where it is. We're going to bring our hands back to our hips. Come up nice and tall. Big breath in. As we exhale, hinge forward and take that body up. Exhale, hinge. Take that body up. Hold it here. Arms float out to the side as we breathe in, and we'll exhale, side bend. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend the other way. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend, hold. Pulse that leg to the ceiling. There's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take that body up nice and tall. Hands come right back to the hips. Let's bring our knees back in line with each other. Take the other one out to the side. Drop into that squared off position. Big breath in. Exhale, hinge the body forward. Inhale up tall. One more time, hinge the body forward, breathing out. Inhale up tall. Let's take those arms out to the side, shoulder height with the hands, and we'll exhale on side bend. Inhale and up. Exhale, side bend. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend. Hold it there. Pulse the leg. Here's 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come up nice and tall. Take those hands right back to the hips. We'll come back to our tall kneel. We're going to roll our shoulders back and down. There's 3. Here's 2 and 1. Tip an ear to a shoulder. Take it back up. Opposite ear to the other shoulder. Take it back up. Let's take ourselves all the way down onto our side. Bend up those knees, lining our heels up with that rear end. We're going to lift our waistline up. Drive a little toy car underneath it. Keep that belly engaged. Top hand comes to the floor. We're going to lift and lower our knees. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, top knee alone. Here's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees come down, lift the feet up and down. 3, 2, hold them up there, top knee again. 3, squeeze from that glute. Here's 2. Hold it up there for 1. Straighten and bend both knees. 3, 2, keep that waistline lifted. 1, toes together, take that knee down. Both feet come down, fire hydrant lifts. Whole top leg. 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height, straighten the bottom leg out. Fire hydrants again, there's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Top toes come down to the knee. Clamshell lift, straight bottom leg, there's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height. We're going to straighten our top leg out, swing it forward, kick it forward, draw it back. Forward, forward, and back. 2 more. Take it back. 1 more. Take it back. Circle the leg forward. There's 4, 3, 2. Reverse it for 4, 3, 2. Hold it up there. Bottom leg comes up and down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there. Big breath in. Exhale the legs down. Bend those knees up. Give that hip a little pat. And let's take ourselves up and over to the other side. All right, we are in the home stretch. We've got one more side. We've got a little balancing to finish up with after that. Let's take that arm down. Knees are bent. We'll lift up that waistline. Top hand comes to the floor. Lift and lower the knees. There's 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take the knees down. Top knee alone. Lift that waistline. Here's 2. Here's 1. Knees come down. Lift and lower the feet. 3, 2. Hold those feet up there. Top knee. 3, 2, 1. Hold them up there. Top hand presses into the mat. Straighten and bend both knees. 3, 2, and 1. Keep that waistline lifted. Top knee comes down. Both feet come down. Fire hydrants. 3, 2, and 1. Back to hip height. Straighten that bottom leg out. Fire hydrants again. 3, 2, and 1. Knee comes down to hip height. Top toes to the bottom knee. Clamshell, straight bottom leg. 3, 2, almost there. 1. Back to hip height. Straighten that leg out. Swing it forward. Forward, draw it back. Kick it forward. Forward, draw it back. Last 2. And draw. Last 1. Draw it back. Let's circle forward. 3, 2. Reverse it. Here's 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold that leg up there. Take that bottom leg up and down. Last set. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold them up there. Breathing in. Exhale them down. Bend those knees up. Give that hip a little pat. Good job. Let's turn out to our backs. We're going to draw that chin down toward the neck as we lengthen out to our backs. Line the heels up with those sit bones. Roll your shoulders back and down toward that floor. Let's rock those knees side to side. Take them all the way up and over. It's okay if that hip lifts up. It's also okay if you feel like leaving your hips on the floor. Take it through, as always, a range that feels good for your body. Let's rock those knees back to the ceiling. We're going to cross the leg closest to the screen over that other one. Lift up into figure 4. We'll hold for a breath. Exhale, rock away from that cross leg. Breathe it in. Breathe it out back to the middle. Switch it up. Opposite foot crosses over. Draw that knee in. Rock toward the screen away from that cross leg side. 1 more breath. Exhale to center. Unwind those legs. Give them a pull into the chest and we'll roll our shoulders back and down. Twice more. Keep that chin knotted and nice and stable. We'll draw our feet to the floor. We're going to turn ourselves over to hands and knees. And as we make our way up to standing to close class, we're going to curl to cat. Lengthen and reverse to cow. 1 more time. Curl and reverse. Let's turn our toes under as we come to neutral. We'll walk our bottom back to the heels. Make your way over to that flat foot position. We're gonna come up nice and tall. Roll those shoulders back and down. Let's turn and face our screen. With those feet together, let's take a big breath in. Arms come up, palms together. Clasp the palms, press into the ceiling. And we'll take a tall side bend to either side. Inhale up, open those arms out to the side and down. We are done for today, and we are done with our live classes for the year. I'm looking forward to a nice holiday, and I hope everybody else has a great one. And I look forward to seeing everybody in 2022.